Ladies and gentlemen, I got another one for you.
I don't give a
when an Israeli child is killed versus when a Palestinian child is killed. When a Palestinian child is killed, and we heard this from Dershowitz and many other defenders of the indiscriminate killing of Palestinian children, well, it must be the case that Hamas was using them as a human shield. It must be the case that a Hamas missile was located close to those children and it could not be helped. And on the other side, we're being told that Palestinians are keeping Israeli children in cages and decapitating them by the dozens, neither which rumor turned out to be true. And yet in the middle of a tragedy that needed no embellishment to make the case for why Hamas's acts are horrible and tragic, there is still this embellishment, and I believe it is rooted in a desire to strip humanity from the people of Palestine and justify doing what Max Miller and a number of other officials in the Israeli government have said,
Max
which
Miller
is to flatten.
is an obscure Republican official. It does not matter what he says.
So every leftist, wait a minute, Robbie, every leftist in America was asked to apologize for some random protest.
They should apologize. They should apologize for their endorsement of terrorist attacks on innocent Israeli civilians, just as I am outraged by the retaliatory actions that are killing innocent Palestinian children everywhere. I care about both of these things and have said I care about both of these things over and over again. It is you and the idiotic, leftist, terrorist sympathizing people who do not care about the dead Israelis. They don't.
So I'm a terrorist.
And they've said it over and over again. Black Lives Matter has said it. The Harvard students have said it. The DSA in various locations have said it. The left endorses what Hamas did. They do. They endorse it.
The Harvard newspaper said exactly what the editorial page of Israel's major newspaper said.
I don't give a
Damn. Yeah, Black Lives Matter said it. Look at this. Hey, parachuting. We stand with Hamas. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? When I make specific things or talk about specific things, the moment it feels like I push against feminism, immediately people tell me, are you supporting rape? No, I'm not supporting that stupidity. But now you see those people that usually say that to my face, these leftists, they always tell me that I support rape. You have people flying over, doing that, and nobody calls it out. Nobody bats an eye. I do, yeah. Nobody calls it out. And I'm like, wait a second. This is the first time I see people be like, hey, we want to justify because they live in the apartheid state. I'm like, oh. I'm like, bruh, how did we get here?
The other thing I'll say is Palestine is our generation South Africa. And if we don't step up boldly and courageously to end the imperialist project that's called Israel, we're doomed. And nothing would have prepared me for how much clarity I would have on why we have to be a part of Palestinian solidarity.
I'm just like, why do you want to be part of a group that wants to justify a reaction? Hey, wait a second. That's just like BLM. Antifa. Now Hamas too? Yeah, free Palestine. No, free Palestine from Gaza or free Palestine from Israel. What are you talking about? I won't trust a woman when we give you a bunch of money to help the black people and you bought a bunch of houses on somebody else's name. It's not my house, but you don't live there and party.
Can you imagine if the ADL, and they would never do this, but let's say the ADL came out with a poster of a political candidate and showed Tops Market in Buffalo, where a racist shot and killed black people. Right. And they basically made it look like this is what they're supporting. Can you imagine, number one, what the reaction would be, and number two, the notion that the ADL would not come out and denounce it if a chapter of ADL did that? Right. It would be outrageous.
And we talked about this last night, that in the 60s, that
two civil rights workers were Jewish in 1964 who were killed in Mississippi.
Shoulder to shoulder with black people for the civil rights movement. And now we're at this point where such brazen and disgusting anti-Semitism to the I Stand with Palestine, it's more about their engagement with people online. We stand with Palestine and the people who will do what they must to live free.
They're justifying Hamas.
Those rescuing babies from rubble who are in danger of being wiped out completely.
We stand with Palestine and the people who will do what they must do to live free. That is justifying what Hamas did with this carnage. It is outrageous.
And Harvey, the rest of the statement where they're talking about babies being rescued from the rubble, that is about Israel's response with bombing after the terrorist attack. So even the babies they're talking about there are not the babies you were referring to.
And yet they weren't, exactly, yet they can't understand what the terrorists did to babies and mothers when they attacked on Saturday and continued for days to come.
That organization is Hitler-esque.
A professor at Cornell University. It was accelerating.
It was exhilarating. It was exhilarating. It was energizing. And if they weren't exhilarated by this challenge to the monopoly of violence, by this shifting of the balance of power, then they would not be human. I find exhilarating.
Cornell professor Russell Rickford sparked controversy with comments made during the pro-Palestine rally. He described Hamas' recent terror on Israel, which caused over 1,400 casualties, as exhilarating and energizing, asserting that it had shifted the balance of power and punctuated Israel's invincibility illusion. Rickford's speech at the rally included remarks that it was exhilarating. A lot of these Ivy League schools are sitting on 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and I think Harvard's sitting on $60 billion of endowment. Many of this money has been paid by people that are pro-Israel, and to the point where billionaires, this is a Daily Mail article, drop Ivy League funding over failures to condemn Hamas.
I don't give a Brianna.
Okay, well, that's clear that that's your opinion, but the Israeli voices in Israel who are getting killed because their fascist right-wing government decides to keep 2.3 million
The Israelis are getting killed
people.
because a terrorist group targeted them. And
Israelis-
they bear responsibility for what they did.
Well, Robbie, if you think you know more than Israelis in Israel, then you can feel free to have your position. But the position of Israelis who are the ones that are being victimized by this terrorism is that the fact of stripping the rights of 2.3 million people in an apartheid state on their border are conditions
Justify terrorist attacks on civilians in those
Do you
towns.
think that justifies terrorist attacks?
No.
Well, I don't either, so why do you keep saying
Well, I don't think the occupation is justified either. So why are you saying that I
So,
do?
Robbie, I'm not saying that you do, but
He didn't say it, then why do you use it as a defense mechanism to attack a point that he never mentioned, but you just want to feel right about yourself? Bruh, usually you consider it a global issue, like white supremacy, masculinity, macho, and all that stuff. And suddenly, where's the feminist energy? It's gone. Why? I will stop ranting. Let me know what you guys think. Like, share, spread the word, because hey man, we live on a unique planet and we need to do better.